Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am Shamali and today we are meeting to build my museum, at least part 1, because this was a really long build, so I decided to split it up into 2 parts. So here we jumped right into my museum is placed and I'm gonna start building around. The first thing I wanted to do is surround it with this natural vegetal fencing, which I really love because the museum is really city and I don't know, kind of Roman vibes, and it doesn't, for me at least, fit quite in the natural theme and vibe. I've seen like other YouTubers doing like a awesome job with like blending it into like a very natural theme, like abandoned theme also, like really it blends correctly, but I don't know, I was not feeling like I could do it super well. So that is why I went with the vegetal fence, because when I used it, like I did some experiment and trials before, and when I used it, I felt like it was really giving a more natural vibe to the museum. So that is why I first surrounded it with like this natural vegetal fencing. Then I'm building a cliff because I want to access my museum with like an incline on the side. So I'm building just the side of the cliff. The rest of the cliff I did not build, like the behind, because this will be for another build. Because yeah, this one I'm gonna focus really on the front part of the museum. Yeah, also my museum is kind of right behind my resident service and also next to my sunken waterfall that I did on my previous build. So check that out if you haven't, because it was also really fun to do. But so this one is my museum, and because I wanted it to be really watery, if that makes sense, I placed it next to the sunken waterfall slash forest, as I was telling you in my previous video. And so it was right behind the resident service because of the way I placed everything on my map. Maybe I should have thought a bit more. But it doesn't bother me because then the entrance is a bit hidden, not like quite visible. And I like it. Like, you know, it's not that obvious that you have to go behind the resident service to go to the museum. Or at least if you open the map, I guess you can see it. But from just starting and staring at stuff. So I liked it, and I played a bit of trick, if I can call that a trick. You will see in a later part of the video, I guess. And I did also a lot of Hop Island, bigger, smaller, bunch of them. Because I wanted to incorporate a lot of objects, trees also, nature, but some objects that are museum related. So I will show you, of course, when we arrive to this part. But the main part of my build is waterscaping. And at first I wanted to access my museum only by the incline on the side and hop islands, like, you know, a jumping path. But then I thought and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, I mean, it's gonna be great on shot, but if I have to access my museum, it's gonna take forever to jump. So I erased what I started and I decided to leave like a path, like kind of a land bridge, not a bridge you have to build and pay in game, like a land bridge path. Which will be very natural with a lot of flowers and custom designs, of course. So very natural, and I tried to bend it with the waterscaping in multiple ways. Also, I speed up that part and I skipped many others, but I'm not lying, I'm really clumsy. Like, I should be the clumsy Animal Crossing builder, because again I was like hitting and hitting the same spot again and again and again, even when I was trying to move and do something else, beam, hitting that same spot again. So yeah, if I could have put like a circus music, I would have done it because it's what I have in my mind when I see that scene. And also when I was like building that scene, if that makes sense. So yeah, super clumsy and super missing my spot again and again. So maybe that is why the video was a bit long and the build also took me like almost 3 hours. Yeah, I also did multiple break because I don't know where you live, but here where I am, it's super hot today. We had a really bad storm for the last couple of days, and today it was super hot, so I had to take like many breaks to go to drink. So also friendly reminder, if you haven't drunk, like hydrate in the past 2 hours, then don't forget to just take a glass of water and hydrate, stay hydrated, it's really important. So yeah, I had to take many breaks to drink a lot of water. And so as you can see, I made a lot of progress on my Hop Hop Islands. As I was telling you, some are bigger and some smaller. And my bridge of land. Branch, okay. Just making up words, I guess. So my branch is done, and I quite like it. Like I like the shape, and I will like it even more when it's completely furnished, let's say. And I jumped a bit again because there I was again rebuilding the same spot. I mean, really, I was going crazy at one point. Like I was really going mad. Like, how much can I always hit the same spot? Could we have like in The Sims, for example, like a grid for Animal Crossing? That would be super handy for me. And I'm almost done, I think. Not quite yet, but almost done with the weatherscaping and the Hop Hop Island. I have a bunch of them because really it was my main goal here, to have Hop Hop Islands and to furnish them like museum wise. And you can see that I was getting mad at the game for always hitting the same spot. Of course, it's a game, it's not me, it is the game, you know. I'm starting up here with finishing up maybe the left part of my build, if, yeah, of course, if my aiming will collaborate. Really, like, it's really bad. But I'm doing the last part of those Hop Hop Islands. I will be done in a minute. I will adjust some of the Hop Hop Island on the right, but I did not record it because it was just mainly moving one island. Because as you can see here, they are like really aligned, and now I'm realizing it forms like a one shape. But I did not like it, so I will change that later. And here I have like kind of a heart shape, which I liked. I didn't know if it was like a heart shape or a Winnie the Pooh shape or something like that, but I liked it. And as you can see, I started placing my custom designs for my path. I'm gonna also go with a lot of bushes, flowers, really something natural. And I'm trying to really mix and match a lot of custom designs because I feel like it's gonna add to the natural vibe to have mix and match. So that is what I'm doing, placing a lot of flowers, lot of custom design, in fact. And I'm gonna start placing trees also. And note this, I paid really attention to the type of trees because I'm not gonna make the same mistake twice, you know, I'm that smart. I'm not gonna do like in my shopping district where I put always the same trees without realizing I was picking the wrong one. So this time I double checked every time I was going in my inventory to check for a tree. I was double checking what I was doing. But okay, yeah, so for the next couple of minutes I will be working on my path, so a bit repetitive, putting flowers, grass, custom designs, all of that. So maybe I don't need to comment that, and in the meantime I can ask you some questions. So what is the style of your island? Or if you don't have Animal Crossing and you wish you could play, what style would you go for? Like, would it be city? Would it be fairy core? Would it be cottage core? What is making you vibe? Like, let me know in the comment, please. I would be so interested. And also, if you want to maybe tour your island, like on my channel, yeah, also leave a comment or contact me on Instagram, because that could be fun and interesting. And so here I'm just decorating and putting some flowers around my pond. I wanted to have a really little small pond for fishing, so that's why it's there and not connected to anything. It's also cuter like this. And here, so I realized that my waterfall, I was not gonna be able to build it like I imagined it. So I went in my waterscaping and I redid everything because I wanted my waterfall to also be near my incline and then like fall into the lake thingy. So that is why I absolutely needed to redo a bit of my cliff, and yeah, that is what I meant. And I tried to enlarge it, but it was not looking good, so I kept with what I had. And I also wanted to have like a bigger waterfall on the front, so I extended a bit my cliff and then redid my waterscaping on the side. And I'm really liking it. So I was really happy with the end result of that one. And so I'm finishing up by placing some flowers. I will just on top of the cliff, not now, but later I will just put like 2 trees just for the view. But as you can see, yeah, the back of my museum will be empty and that will not do it, so but I focused on the front first, and then the back will be in the next video, which will be on Thursday afternoon if you're in European time and morning if you're in American time. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can be informed of the part 2 and you can check that out. At this point I was almost done with the nature, not completely done of course, but I wanted to place some objects, especially because some of them were bigger and I needed to have some ideas on where to place them and how big, how much space they would take. That is why I switched from natural and flowers to this object selecting, and I used this Maui statue, I hope it's like that in English. I used it there because, okay, this was in one of my dreams. Not like Animal Crossing related. It's like a dream I made like some years ago, but it made such an impression on me that I wanted to incorporate it in my build. Because I dreamt that I was like going in Italy on holiday and then I fell in the water and then I don't know what happened and I arrived in some place where they were like, it was still in the sea, but there were like statues everywhere, like half in the sea and half in the air, I would guess. And in fact I dreamt that I found Atlantis, I guess is the name, and I loved it. I mean, it was such a special dream for me. And here with all the water, the Maui statue and the museum, I thought like it's all connected and I can incorporate my dream and I can incorporate those statues half in the water, half on the land. I mean, here it's obviously all in the land, but I don't know, it rang to my dream. So I used it this way because of my dream I had a couple of years ago. Super interesting indeed. And I'm placing some rocks like garden rocks, mossy rock. I think it's super cool and pretty. And here I'm again using this Sanrio item, like this little frog stuff. Oh my god, I love it. I think I will use it everywhere, but I love it. It's so beautiful. So now that I have a better view on my objects, I'm gonna go and start adding again flowers and nature and bush, and it's gonna be like a mix. I'm also adding those lanterns. I wanted them to be symmetrical. I did a good job on placing them, but I was not too sure again where the door of the museum would be. Yeah, you spend like thousands of hours playing a game and you don't remember where the doors of the museum are. Whoops! So for the rest, it's just gonna be me decorating the rest of the Hop Hop Islands. So here I'm just putting this mushroom seeds, which is pretty cute and natural also. I was not too sure on where to use it, but I like it there. And here I'm gonna decorate around my tree. Normally I checked, and I mean I can assure you, because I went through the end of the build of course, but this tree will grow and no issue with it. So that is cool. And then I'm trying to place this log stakes, I guess is the name. So I'm trying to place it and I struggled a bit, but in the end I found a position I liked, and I'm placing some design patterns and then a bit of grass everywhere. And I think I did a pretty good job on myself with the flowers and the grass, because I put a lot more on this build. And here I tried to put that petal basket that we got, like, you know, the temporary objects. Don't forget to buy them, by the way, like, if you haven't. But it's super ridiculously small, like really ridiculously small. Look at that. So I moved it and placed it on top of flowers, because then it looks like just part of the design pattern flower stuff, but it's ridiculously small. And here is the trick I played. Oh my god, I feel so smart about this one, but it's just silly. I played a trick for the visitor on my island. So at first I wanted to put like a tree, like a pear tree, but it was not fitting. So I thought, what is smarter to do, like Hop Hop Island with like a path to lead people up there, and just have a panel that say that the museum is the other way. I mean, it might just like make me laugh, only me. And then I put a little dinosaur toy over there, because yeah, it's of course a dinosaur that you can see in the museum. That's small and everything. But I think I'm getting to the end of all of this. It's only like just putting some design patterns, again like these log stakes, and then I'm running around to check that everything is looking lovely and placing like the design patterns that I feel like is missing. I'm also trying to put something like near the museum, but I was stuck because I needed to see the museum. As I was telling you, I already forgot how it looked. So in a minute I will time travel in the future, of course, to see my museum and my incline, and so I will be able to put everything I need, like all the missing bits. So I'm trying to fill with as much as I can. But here is the time traveled version, and so I see that it's missing of custom designs near the pond and near the museum, so I'm trying to fill with as much as possible. Also, I was trying to be not too repetitive with the patterns and everything. Like here I was unsatisfied because I was like feeling too many white flowers next to each other, even though it was not white flowers but always different designs. But yeah, I was trying. And here I'm gonna reuse what I did in my last build with the grass on top of the grass. And I liked it. I mean, it was looking good, or maybe I'm getting used to seeing that with like 2 times, you know. It's a good timing to get used to something. But I was starting to like this, so I reused it, and I felt like it was super coherent with my other build, so I reused it. And how? What is that behind the resident service? I wonder. Let's go and check together. Yeah, I'm the actor of the year. I know, give me an Oscar already. But so yeah, here's my final build with like the trees that have grown. I've stopped this little one on the bottom. But that is what it looks like, and I'm super fan of it. Like all the flowers and the custom designs, it's super natural. I'm vibing it, even if like the sun didn't show up for the final reveal. And here's like the little tricky area, I must say, with the dinosaur. So that's it for this build. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on below if you liked it, and see you on Thursday for part 2. Bye!